guys, welcome back to Hayes Review. Today I'm joined here with
Jake,
my brother, and we will be reviewing episode 9 of The Last of Us, the last episode of season 1. So let's get into it. At the beginning of this episode, we are introduced to Anna, who is played by Ashley Johnson, who voices
Ellie in the game.
Who voices Ellie in the Last of Us game, which I thought was really cool that they had another guest star with someone from the game.
Yeah.
But Anna is Ellie's mother, so it shows how Ellie got infected. So basically, Anna is running through the woods and makes her way to this house, which I guess is like home base maybe, and then there's an infected after her, and the infected breaks into the room, and she's struggling with the infected, and then ends up killing the infected, and then the camera pans down, and she has a bite mark on her thigh, and by this time, Anna has already given birth. Ellie is out of her, like out of the womb into the world, but she still has the umbilical cord attached. So then Anna quickly cuts the cord, and then is just holding Ellie, telling her like, "You're a badass" or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then Marlene shows up with her other people, and then she finds Anna in that room, and Anna tells her, "Please take care of her." That ends the flashback, and then it cuts to Ellie and Joel in real time. Ellie is kind of
it's like the roles are swapped
a little bit. Yes, it's kind of like the roles are swapped for this episode. Yeah, I agree. And so Joel is like messing around, telling jokes, trying to make her feel better, and she just doesn't. She's very out of it.
Yeah.
She's still trying to deal with what just happened to her the day before, or
she's like PTSD.
However long before. She definitely has PTSD from what just happened to her, and he doesn't really know how to help her cope. He doesn't know how to help her process her emotions. Like, obviously therapy is not a thing in this post-apocalyptic world. Yeah. So they're making their way through
highway.
Yeah, through the highway into this abandoned building, and
they try to go upstairs. Well, because she drops down the ladder, and she wants her to drop down the ladder, and then she's like, "Oh my God, look at this!" and she drops the ladder,
and she just runs off. And then Joel's like, "What the hell?" And then he gets up on the ladder, climbs up, and follows her. And there's a giraffe, and Ellie ends up feeding it some leaves, and the happiness is coming back, and she's smiling, and he's really happy to see her smile again after going through all that, because I don't really know if he knows all that happened to her. She probably hasn't talked about it with him at all.
Probably not.
So, and then he also tells her, like, "Hey, we don't need to do this. Like, we don't have to do this. We can go home. We can go back to Tommy's community. Like, we can just leave all this behind us." And she's like, "No, like, we've come this far. We've sacrificed this much. We're not just going to give up."
Yeah.
So then he's like, "Okay, whatever you want to do." And they're walking along, making their way to the firefly location, and they're talking about, they're talking about his past, and he basically says that he tried to off himself, and he was the man who missed, because they talk about that in the earlier episodes, how the scar he has on his head is from someone who missed, and that person was him. Ellie was the thing that saved him, and gave him reason to live, I guess, to keep on going, keep on surviving. And really cute moment. And then all of a sudden they are not attacked, but the fireflies throw a smoke bomb, and that knocks both of them out. Mm-hmm. And so Joel wakes up in a room in this hospital, and Marlene is there. And Marlene's like, "Wow, Joel, I didn't think you were going to do it." And then he was like, "It's all Ellie. It was all Ellie. It wasn't me. Like, she really wanted to be here." And he's like, "Where is she?" And then Marlene says that they're prepping her for surgery, and Joel's like,
"Surgery?"
Yeah, he's like, "Surgery? Like, what does that mean?" And she's basically explaining that the cordyceps are in her. Like, she already has cordyceps.
Like in her brain.
In her brain. And obviously, everyone knows that cordyceps grow in the brain. So basically, they have to kill her to get, the special cordyceps that she has that
to make a cure,
to make a cure, vaccine, whatever. And this is all a maybe. Like, this is all a maybe cure, maybe vaccine. So he's like, you're not killing her. You can't kill her. And Marlene tells her men, you know, walk him out to the highway. So, yeah. So Joel is getting escorted out of the hospital by Marlene's men. He's going downstairs. He's acting all coy with them, being like, which way do I go, and all this. And he catches them off guard and then kills both of them and takes their weapons. And then you can explain what happens next.
He just starts killing everyone.
Yeah.
And it's like a whole montage with like music and it's like slow-mo.
Yeah.
And there's no sound. I don't think it's just
I think it's just music, yeah. Oh, well, no. Before he kills the second guy, he asks where they are. He asks where Ellie is. And the guy says, like, I'm not telling you. And then he says, I don't have time for this. And then shoots him. Mm-hmm. And then that...
then he starts going on a shooting spree in the hospital.
Yeah.
And kills every single firefly.
How many do you think there were that he killed?
Probably like 50.
Really? 50?
I mean, in the game, there's at least 50.
I was going to say like 24 maybe.
Okay. Well, yeah, say 25.
Yeah. So, yeah, he makes his way through the hospital and then finally finds Ellie in the hospital room, hooked up to all the machines, and they're basically about to cut into her. Mm-hmm. And Joel goes in there and he's like, don't touch her or something like that.
Yeah,
or
like take her off.
Take her off the machine or whatever. And
or the nurse or the doctor comes with a scalpel to...
What does he say?
To threaten him. It's like, get out of here. And then he just shoots him.
Yeah, so I think the doctor says something like, I won't let you take her. And then Joel's like, okay, and then shoots him. And then he tells
the nurses
the other...
just back up.
Yeah, he tells the other two nurses to unhook her from all the machines, and so they do. And then he carries her out of there and all the way down to
the parking garage.
The parking garage where he can find a car, and then...
Marlene stops him.
Yeah, and then Marlene stops him.
Like, you can't take her.
Mm-hmm. He's like, and she's also saying, like, what would she want to do? What would her choice be? And he's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's unclear whether or not Joel is going to give her back to her or take off with her. Like, he seems like his facial expression, it seems like he understands. Like, he's understanding where she's coming from. He's like, oh, you're right. Like, she should be the one to decide this. And then it just shows him shooting Marlene. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to them in the car, and Ellie's in the back seat laying down, and then she's waking up out of her sedated state, and she's like, what happened? Where am I? Where are my clothes? Yeah, and he gaslights her so badly. And he's like, oh, raiders came, and I barely got us out of there. People got hurt. And then she asks if Marlene was hurt. And then it cuts back to...
him shooting her.
So it cuts back to Marlene, and she's still alive from being shot in the stomach. And he walks over to her, and she's like, please, please don't. Please don't. And then he says, you'll just come after her. And then shoots her in the head. And then it cuts back to the car again, and he says, like, yeah, Marlene was hurt. I'm so sorry. And then... they drive all the way back to Tommy's community, and then they're walking there, and they're on this cliff together, and she says, tell me the truth. What happened? What happened back there?
It's like, that was the truth.
Is what you said the truth about what happened back there?
He says, yes.
And then he says, yes. And then she says, okay.
But he's lying.
He's obviously lying, but I just think she can't do anything about it, so she just says, okay. You know, because there's nothing to be done. It's already over and done with. So, but yeah. So, what did you think about the ending?
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty close to the game.
Yeah, I think that was like the most accurate.
They cut
episode.
It was a little too short. It's the shortest episode of the whole season.
I mean, okay. So let's talk about what we would have done in this situation. Like, if it was your daughter that she was going to be killed for a maybe vaccine. Would you have done the same thing, or would you have let her be killed?
I don't know. I would probably try to figure out what the doctors are going to do. I mean, they're going to kill her, but like, could they do anything else? before they do that?
I mean, they don't have enough advanced, like, machinery to not kill her. I mean, he was going to open her up with a scalpel. You know?
Yeah.
So. Okay, so you would have...
I probably killed him, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a morality thing. Like, what would you do in that situation? But it's like, he can't live without her. And I think that was a very important point in his character, was that he was willing to sacrifice everything, kill anyone that stood in his way to save, you know, this girl he really, really cared about and he considered like family at this point, I think. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, really, really sad ending, but it's also like, I don't know, like you just see how Joel is willing to sacrifice, you know, anything and anyone to make sure the people that he loves are safe. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think he was willing to take any chances with his, with his daughter. He, you know, I feel like had some trauma and just figured anyone, like any of those people would have tried to kill Ellie if they got the chance, kind of thing. So he just decided to kill all of them first. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really like this episode. So that's the end of season 1 of The Last of Us. And I am super excited for season 2, whenever that comes out. Yep. Because I have actually watched the playthrough of the second game. And I'm really excited to see it, you know, transformed into a show. But yeah, so that wraps up episode 9. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hayes Review. Class is in session. I bet you're wondering, what is this? I will explain. So I will be ranking my favorite characters from episode 9 of The Last of Us in descending order. So I will be starting from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. So yeah, let's get into it. So starting at number 5. We have Miss Marlene. So Marlene in this episode, you know, she's just trying to do the best she can for humanity. And I understand that she is trying to figure out a vaccine. And it was her plan all along. It was her plan to get Ellie to the fireflies to see if doctors could figure out a vaccine for everyone else. And I don't necessarily think that she knew that Ellie would die in the process. And it is what it is. So Marlene was just doing the best she could, in my opinion. So she's number 5. Number 4, we have the doctors. So I'm saying the doctors and literally every other firefly in that hospital. So I feel really, really bad for them because they were just doing what they thought was best for humanity, just like Marlene was. While no one wants to kill a 14-year-old girl, they were just doing what they thought was necessary for the future of the world. And Joel had his way with them. So it was hard. It was a very hard scene. And sorry, doctors and fireflies. R.I.P. So now we have number 3, Ellie. So Ellie was very distraught and traumatized from the past episode. And it was hard for Joel to kind of break the ice with her. But I really liked the scene where she finds the giraffe and she's feeding it and you can see her smile coming back. And then Joel and Ellie have this cute scene where he explains that he did try to himself earlier, like whenever the apocalypse first started, and he was saying that now he has found another purpose for life and it is her. And it was really, really cute. And Ellie didn't really do much. I mean, she was kind of unconscious for half of this episode. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? If she had the option to save everyone, or die to save everyone, or live and just live her life out and it would be her decision? Or do you think she would have wanted what was best for humanity? But again, it's also a maybe vaccine because no one knows what they would have found digging in her brain. And if they even had the possibility of finding anything concrete, you know what I mean? So Ellie's number 3. Number 2, we have Anna. So Anna is Ellie's mom, and she's at the beginning of this episode. And it's Ashley Johnson, who voices Ellie in the video games. So they've done it again. And as soon as I heard her voice in the show, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I know that voice. So I thought that was a really, really cool addition they added to the beginning of this episode. And it also shows the backstory of how Ellie's mom got bit and how Ellie is immune to the cordyceps, which I thought was really, really cool. So yeah, props to Ashley Johnson and HBO. So number 1, we have Joel. So while you guys might not agree with me on this one about him being a good character after what he just did to that entire hospital, I think that he was doing what he thought was best. And I mean, in reality, what would any person do for someone they love? You know what I mean? But he just had the capabilities that some people might not, of being able to turn off his emotions and kill people with no remorse. Again, he's one of my favorite characters, so it's really, really hard to see him in this light and see what he used to be like in the past. So, but he's still my favorite in this episode because he just cares so deeply about Ellie and does whatever needs to be done. So, yeah. Sorry, doctors and Marlene. Sorry. So yeah, that wraps up the last episode of season 1 of The Last of Us. Thanks for watching. Bye. What do you have to say about The Last of Us?
You didn't like it? Was it not good to dogs? Not good for dogs?
What do you have to say about The Last of Us? Please tell us. Okay. Thank you for your input.